Welcome to our podcast. What she said.
Hey, this is Audrey, and this is Courtney, and we are the Girls of 95.
Yeah. Girls of 95. Yeah. Yeah. Girls of 95. Oh, yeah. Wait a way to start. And the gum? Not the gum.
I coughed the gum out.
That's good. That's a good time. Well, hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. This will be a week for you. This will be 2 minutes for us. As we said in the last episode, we're going to do a part 2 today. This is Reddit stories. The last episode,
Family edition.
The last episode, if you missed it, was Friend edition. Now it's Family edition. So it's going to be crazy stories, funny stories, weird times, and we'll share some personal stories as well.
We're going to share some very personal things on this podcast.
Anyway.
That is one thing you can always expect from us.
Yeah.
We're going to get real close and personal.
Wacky and cuckoo.
We're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And wacky for Wheat Thins.
Anyway, but we usually do, talk about our week, but since we just redid the episode, how was your bathroom break?
Oh, honestly, I'm a world record peer, and that's just, put that on my resume.
Yeah, okay.
The boys liked me about
I am
that.
too, yeah. I am too. Maybe not as good as you. We'll race later, and we'll see. But also, yeah, people all the time, they're just like, wow, that was quick for a girl. And I'm like, that's
also,
right.
because we like to talk about things like that too.
Yeah.
Earlier, Audrey was peeking. She goes, how about that stream? Because I could hear her. And I was like, nice stream.
We're about, 20 episodes in at this point. Like, you guys should know this about us by now. Like, we like to talk about
Can I just,
pee-poo, throwing up.
Yeah. Pee-pee-poo-poo.
Pee-poo-poo.
Let's just go back. Let's just revisit the fact that I had stomach flu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it almost turned into a vomit poo-poo situation, but it didn't. I was literally on the floor, laying on a towel in a big t-shirt.
Where were you?
Praying to God. Not at my place. And literally
so big yikes.
Praying it didn't come out the other end.
Big yikes. It's nothing worse than being sick and you're not even at home.
Yeah, I literally was like, if I start having diarrhea too, and I have to figure out how to vomit and have diarrhea at someone else's place, I will find a bottle of pills.
Yeah.
It'll be my 13th reason.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
But it didn't go there.
Anywho, it's so funny too because obviously that's not an ideal situation, but I do think that you would be the most equipped to handle it.
Oh, yeah.
You would be.
Guys, I'm a professional at being sick. I literally almost...
Cancer!
No, I literally almost kind of went where I was like, because I just was at my apartment for days by myself too.
Yeah.
Like, which is funny because it's like 2 days by myself. Whoa, or 3, however long it was. Because I wasn't at work on Monday or whatever. But anyway, I had a couple days by myself where I didn't have enough energy or feel well enough to go out and do anything.
Yeah.
And I was getting kind of stir crazy and just getting really tired of like feeling icky and not feeling well. I literally just did a Walmart pickup just to get a few groceries and things because I had nothing in the house or in the apartment. And just carrying my groceries up the stairs, like thought I was going to die. Like that's just how depleted my body was just from, like I had nothing left in me and I just had to sip on water and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was just really bad, but I almost just like did an Instagram story and was just like, guys, I know I'm a pro at being sick, like, but take it from me. Stomach flu, 0 out of 10. 0 out of 10.
Yeah, what would you rank well, obviously you don't rank cancer, but as far as like sicknesses that people like get and stuff, how would you rank them? Because I think about that all the time. Obviously when you're sick with something, you're always going to say that's the worst. But I'm thinking like for like common colds and stuff, like having a runny nose, having a sore throat and a cough, being like throwing up and stuff. It's like, I always say that coughing is the worst. I think it's like throwing up is bad too, obviously, but it's like, it's so hard to get rid of a cough. That's like my least favorite.
My thing is if I have a cough and I can't sleep, that's when I'm not a fan because then I don't sleep either and I'm just miserable.
Which at least,
but still it's like in the grand scheme of things, I'm like, yeah, that's literally nothing. Like, it's not that bad. But the worst of the worst to me is if you have the bad stomach flu, which I tend to just get from time to time, where it's like it's coming out every end. I'm all dehydrated. My stomach, literally, like right before COVID, I had that stomach flu, and that's what I was afraid this one was going to be. But I'm like, cool, no one's here to take care of me. Because, like, at least when I lived in Missouri still, my parents would be like, yo, do you need to come stay with us for right now or something like that? And I'm thinking, cool. So my roommate's going out of town. Audrey's gonna be
me.
yeah.
I would have brought you soup.
Yeah, you would have not known what to do though.
Yeah, but my parents were in town too, so I was.
Oh yeah, and Audrey's
That's
parents.
why.
There was literally no one I felt like I could ask if I really needed to.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody would have brought me something if I was dying, but I was like, "There's."
Yeah,
I need someone to like literally wait on me hand and foot. Is what I
feel
needed.
bad that I didn't even. Next time, if that ever happens to you again, even if it's to go to Walmart, like I will definitely do that.
It's totally okay.
I know, but I feel bad now. Like that could have been a very easy thing I could have done on Monday.
No, I'm not trying to make you feel bad.
I know. I'm just saying. Like, I'm just thinking. Like, why didn't I think to?
You were busy.
Because I was busy.
Yeah,
but
you
still.
were really busy, and you didn't also like we hadn't talked about how bad I was sick until
That's
after.
true.
I wasn't like, hey,
Yeah.
it was bad though. But right before COVID, my parents had to take me to the ER because I was so I was up all night where I was just like, there wasn't even an ounce of liquid I don't think left in me because I was just.
I bet your head was pounding.
I was like passing out. I was like. Literally, I was laying down in the hallway. I remember outside my mom and dad's bathroom, and they were just trying to get me to like sip on water. But every time I would even take a sip or like put an ice cube in my mouth, I would like throw up anything that was in me or have freaking charts.
Yeah.
And I was laying there going, I'm literally passing out. I'm literally passing out, laying down. I feel like I'm gonna pass out. Like I'm gonna go unconscious. I was like, I really think you need to take me to the ER or something. I need to get some fluids. And yeah, it was so bad. Yeah. So that is like, that's when it's really, really bad. That's the worst.
Sorry, I'm looking at my phone. I just remembered that I emailed these stories to myself and I need to pull them up.
She's like, sorry, this is really getting old listening to this.
No, it's so good. I apologize.
No, but I am an expert.
Yeah, that's good though.
But it's really, that's when I knew, that's what I told Odd. I was like, I knew I was so sick because that's when I knew I was actually like sick with something, or I was starting to like, the clues started piling up because we went to this restaurant. I really wasn't feeling well, but usually what makes me feel better is if I eat something. Mm-hmm. And they brought out like food, and just the smell of food being cooked, I was like repulsed.
Yeah.
And then also my head was on fire later that night. I woke up and I'm like, I'm literally 1,000 degrees in my head.
That's tough, right there.
With chills.
Great. With chills.
So my leg hair was growing back.
Yeah.
And I was mad about that too. But yeah, I survived. I'm on the latest episode of I Survived.
That's good. That's good.
But I am a professional being sick. Really good at it.
I'm sorry, I cannot find this. I'm just gonna have to take a break in the thing.
Really? You can't find the thing?
Nope.
Can you find it in your sense?
Well, I did it on my work computer.
Oh.
So I might have to.
Well, we are talking about family stories today, so we'll kind of get into that. But crazy family stories. Yeah. While you're looking, is it just all over the place crazy family stories? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think if there's anything super crazy that was like my family story. I have some crazy, like, I don't know if I would call it crazy, but just like weird, like people getting together.
Okay.
Type thing.
For your family?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
we'll dive into that in a minute. I found it.
Okay, good.
I have like 6 email addresses.
Good, because I honestly that might have been too much. I don't know. I don't know what's okay to spill. Not enough people listen to Matter, probably.
Okay, so I will say I pulled around like 12 stories. Some of them are pretty long, so I don't know how much I'll go through it, but but they're kind of all like random and out of order and from different threads. So if some are not as good as others in order, it's just because it's random. Okay. So let's start with the first one.
All right, I'm ready.
Christmas 4 years at my clean freak mother's house with my 3 children, then 5, 10, and 15. So 4 years ago, I think they meant to say. Oh my God, the dogs.
Time out for the dogs.
They're like barking in unison. Guys, stop it! Okay. So they're all at Christmas. They're all at Christmas with at their mother-in-law's house. Okay. My mom started taking the decorations off the tree, and I said, "What are you doing?" And she replied, "Taking down the Christmas tree. Christmas is over." She said, "My kids were still opening their presents."
Scrooge.
So she's such a clean freak that she's just like, "Christmas is
just
over."
like a bitch to me.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's not even clean freak. That's just, unless you literally have like a medical where you're just like, sorry, I just, you know what I mean? Like, you're so compulsive.
She could. I mean, that's kind of what it sounds like. That's a little wild.
If you're typing about it, it sounds like that's not it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sounds like she's bitch.
This is a good one. I feel like a lot of families deal with this one. This is creepy uncle story. Okay.
Oh, great. Every creepy guy is somebody's creepy
uncle. It's like,
uncle.
I'm going to tell you this story and you're going to be like, 100%. I've heard that. I thought. Tale as old as time. Okay. The scene. Nana's funeral, 98.
Of course it would be.
The man, my cousin, 34. Or sorry, it's a crazy cousin story, not a crazy uncle. I stand corrected.
Yeah.
My cousin, 34 male, sporting a beer gut and a t-shirt, declaring it to be the fuel tank for a sex machine. So they're at their grandma's funeral.
Ew.
His cousin has a t-shirt. Yeah. Fuel tank for a sex machine. Frank, his name is Frank. The woman, his niece, Sam, 16, female, incredibly well endowed. So, the encounter. Sam was going to leave, so the girl, and she was saying her goodbyes. A hug for Granddad, a handshake from the other adults, kisses for all the little ones, and nothing for leery Uncle Frank. Well, it is an uncle.
It's the teenage girl's uncle, but the person writing it's their cousin.
Got it.
Okay.
Well, Uncle Frank, 4 gens in, decides this was nothing more than a temporary oversight, charges her, and gives her the biggest, creepiest hug of my 4-year-old self had ever seen. Oh, this kid is 4. Got it. After leaving her visibly shaken, he turns around to the rest of us, raises his arms, and declares, "Don't worry, everyone, they're real." So he hugs his niece, who's, she's trying to
Gives
avoid
her
him.
a very inappropriate hug.
And then it says, "Don't worry, everyone, they're real."
That's so creepy and gross. Ew. First of all, that's the creepiest thing to say any man to any woman ever.
Yeah.
Or about any woman.
Yeah.
And then put into perspective that they're related. It's her uncle. She's a teen.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of that jail.
Straight to
Immediately.
jail.
Straight to jail. Jail immediately.
And he's 34 too. That's not very old.
Yeah, it's not like it's your 75.
I'm not saying that's
senile.
any better, but
No, it's not.
I
but
kind
like,
of am saying that's a little bit better because at least with that, it seems like they're just being creepy. They're not like grooming. Because if you're 34, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's still creepy all around.
Yeah, that guy's on a sex offender list somewhere now. But you know what I'm saying? Though, a lot of times, like, it's not okay when it's a super old man either because it's still creepy. But sometimes guys just think things. I think that like in your mind pops up, but they don't say it because they're like, that was weird and not okay.
Yeah.
But then an old man just doesn't have that filter anymore. They just say it.
That's
and
a good point. That's a good point.
So
Never thought about that.
Yeah, that's what I tell myself anyway. I don't know if that's true.
Okay.
Anyway,
here's a
first
couple,
story 0 out of 10. Don't let it.
Here's a couple funny ones. Okay. My family reenacts the nativity scene while my aunt tells the story every year on Christmas Eve. So one year, they tell the story every year now, but one year her aunt kept talking about how Jesus did things the same way Tim Tebow does.
Tim Tebow is.
After
Jesus
she
to some
finished the
people.
story, she explained that she wasn't able to speak very well because she had a severe case of dry mouth. My siblings and I still talk about the birth of Tim Tebow on Christmas every year.
That is really funny.
That's really funny. So, she was telling the story to them as they were little about how much she likes Tim Tebow. It reminds her of Jesus. Probably just talking about how good of a quarterback he is, loves Tim Tebow, whatever. But the kids were so young and confused that they thought that Tim Tebow was Jesus.
I love that. Speaking
That's
of
great.
nativity scene, one time I was the angel in a real life nativity scene.
That's great.
And for like a church I didn't even go to.
That's funny.
I was just
like
scouted.
they knew you were the baby.
They knew I was angelic. I was the angel.
Oh,
No,
you
I
were
was
the
like
angel. I'm
4
sorry.
or 5. Yeah, I was like 4 maybe. Or 3.
Okay.
Something. I think I was like 4. Anyway, and I just remember, I was scouted because that's how angelic I was.
Wow, congrats.
But, no, I remember I was pissed. I was being a little brat because I was so pissed off I had to wear a turtleneck. I had me and turtlenecks.
Went round and round.
We went round and round. Asked my mom. I hated turtlenecks.
Kind of like how Haley hated lip gloss all her life.
Yeah, that's
you
how
guys
I
are
felt.
weird about the
That's
how
how I
you
felt
feel
about
about
turtlenecks. Now I'm a turtleneck fan now.
Wow.
But
Pretty good. That's good. Good ad.
yeah.
All right, this is another funeral one. It's my great-grandmother's funeral. Uncle and grandpa sitting side by side at the wake. A woman walks past. My uncle has a look, nudges his nearly deaf dad, leans in and whispers something to him. Grandpa turns, looks at him and bellows, What'd you say? She's got lovely boots? I actually
have lovely boots.
I actually have a funny story to tell at my grandma's funeral, which just happened about a month ago, and I am fine. Everything's fine. We've thought this was going to happen for a very long time now. Everybody was very prepared. Still wasn't a great weekend.
Yeah,
but
it's still sad, but it wasn't like a shock.
It wasn't a shock at all. It was honestly nice to see family. My family is a little bit wild, a little bit crazy. They all live in Iowa. That's where my mom is from. But we moved to Missouri before I was born. So I've always lived in Missouri. We would go and see them often, but I'm close to them. But it's not like the same closeness that they all share and stuff. So it's definitely fun when I go up and see them. I love my family. I have so many fun stories in my family. But they're a little bit wild. Like my whole family, my grandpa, he's a farmer and he's also a mechanic. All of my uncles are, honestly, every single one's a mechanic, honestly. They've all do farm work, and that's kind of how my family is and stuff, too. They're all really nice people, but a little bit crazy, too. They will definitely, drink you under the table. They've definitely had, some of them have had, some crime issues and stuff, but all generally just amazing, loud, crazy people.
Okay.
You know me, that's my family, too. We have the same personality, okay?
Okay.
My grandpa, sweet man, so sweet.
But also your deceased grandma's husband?
Yes.
Okay.
But he is getting older in age and stuff, a little bit not there as well. And the one thing that he does well is talks. He is the biggest talker of the town. My family's not famous in the small town, but kind of we're a really big family. People know us. People know my grandpa. My grandpa has supported the town. So my grandpa's kind of an icon in our small town. No big deal. Anyway, besides the point, but he knows everybody. There were a million people at the funeral. It was wonderful. They all came out for my grandpa, my family. My grandpa also doesn't know when to shut up. That's always, he is a talker. And literally, we were trying to start the service, and my grandpa was sitting next to my my dad, and they just kept talking, kept going on. And my dad was just okay, Roger, it's time to start. And he was this was my grandpa's voice, pretty much, yeah, well, and then I got the Cadillac, and I sold that one down the road, and the cow's doing pretty good this year. We got some good grain, and that's kind of how my grandpa sounds. He just keeps going on. He doesn't even realize there's 100 people in this room laughing at him because he won't shut up. The preacher, such a sweet man, was just all right, Roger, now. Grandpa doesn't even, he's in the front row. He doesn't even realize what's going on. Doesn't even know.
And you're just all just oh my gosh.
It honestly was such a blessing because it's
it broke up the
seriousness. But then we get to we're literally about to lay her in the ground, again. Brings it up again, starts just talking, won't shut up, and people are hitting him. They're Roger, stop it. I'm hitting you really hard, I'm sorry. He was stop talking, and he just kept going, and my cousin turned to me, and she was just what's the funniest part? Grandma would have been pissed. He was talking so much, wow. Just so, yeah,
no,
anyway.
I love that, that's so funny.
Yeah, but yeah, lovely boots, as one grandpa would say. That's kind of shit my grandpa would do, too. He'd be what did you say? She's got good boots?
Yeah, and you're
Yeah, okay. Okay, so this one's a little bit longer. I don't even really remember all of this one. Okay, so let's dive in. I have 2 older half-sisters, one of whom is married. Upon getting married, in addition to having my 2 beautiful nieces, my sister and her husband decide to start swinging. Okay?
No.
In case you don't know what that means, it means having sex with other couples and people. Group sex. And boy, did she and her fucking husband love to talk about it with whomever would listen. I'm talking full disclosure on blowjobs and butt stuff, the whole deal. They only talked about it for a couple days before they realized they were being grossly inappropriate at our family Sunday night dinners. They bring themselves and their kids to grandma's house, where I was living at the time, every Sunday for a nice dinner. To be fair, they didn't talk about these things at dinner, but rather when they would corner people one-on-one, trying to, after a few glasses of wine, just talking about it. Either way, fast forward to present day, and my sis and her hubby now have hubby's best friend living with them and they engage in some sort of group sex activity. I remain in a truly blissful ignorance as to the details, but I do know both hubby and hubby's best friends have unprotected sex with my sis. They both have had vasectomies and are assumed infertile. You might know where this is going. So sis gets pregnant. They don't know who the father is, and that's the craziest family drama that I have. That's not my drama, that's somebody else's drama, but yeah.
No.
And in all caps again, she just put, that's it. She like didn't finish it, but just like, yeah.
Wow, okay. That's a lot to take in.
Here's a real good one. So this writer, he's got a lot
Are we moving on from this that fast?
Oh, we can keep going. We can keep on keeping on.
You have nothing to say from that.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. I'm definitely not a swinging type of person. I guess it's nice that you're doing it with your friend. But yeah, that's wild. Why would you share all those details? I'm sorry.
I'm just not a fan. Sorry. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna judge you.
Yeah. At a family dinner.
I'm gonna judge you.
That's the kind of shit that if you do bring it up, you are.
Also, do you not know your audience? Like, that is such
grandma's family dinner.
Yeah, that's such a, like, also, regardless, I know people do it, but it's still taboo.
Yeah.
Okay? It's still taboo. It is. It's not like just the normal, everybody does it.
Honestly, it's like, the only way I think you could bring it up is if you're like, literally, it's just like you and then your like cousin and you're both girls and you're both drunk and you're both talking about it. Like, don't bring it up at family dinner. That's like, really weird.
No. Like, here's my thing. It's like, imagine if you had a friend, like a crazy friend or crazy sister or whatever, and they were talking about, but then they were like trying to talk to your like husband about it or something.
Yeah. No.
I'd be like, you're about to get boxed, ho.
You're about to get stepped off.
Because you know they're trying to be like, yo, you know when they really talking it up, they want you to kind of like, they're trying to feel you out.
Yeah.
People try to ask somebody I know before. They're like offered like to try to, I won't say who, but yeah.
That's crazy.
Creepy.
Okay, this next story is fun because he has a really crazy family and he's just giving like a whole bunch of like rapid fire.
Okay, rapid fire, go.
Some of them are still long. Okay. Here we go. I'll give abbreviated versions of everything. And if anybody, they said he'll go on to like elaborate. But mom and dad divorced because mom and I walked in on dad having sex with a coworker at our own house party. That's one of the things that happened.
At your own house party too. Okay, first of all.
Yeah. And it's a coworker too. Yeah.
My thing is, even in a movie though, when you're like off messing around at your own thing where like the person is, you're not sneaking around like staying after hours at work or something like that. Like, eventually you're not going to get caught anyway. Like, I don't know how anyone thinks you're never going to get caught, because you will, by somebody. But, like, I'm having a party, and I'm cheating on my significant other in the same house.
Yeah. Here's another one. Same dad. A lot of the dad's got a lot of issues. Dad is on marriage number 3. She is an ex-nun.
That is spicy.
That is spicy.
Spicy juice.
Dad is middle of 7 boys. His parents were hardcore Christians. Grandfather was Billy Graham's mentor. I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Billy Graham is?
No, who's that?
Oh. How'd you grow up in Missouri and not know who Billy Graham is?
He's
famous, like TV evangelist.
Oh, interesting. I'm obsessed with TV evangelists. Like, I think
then you should know who Billy Graham is.
Anyway.
He passed away, I think.
Here's another one. Parental grandmother was crazy OCD and made my dad take 4 showers a day and wash his sheets every morning. My dad is pretty messed up from all of that. Well, it makes sense. Look at all the other stories. She also told my sister that and I that we were spawns of Satan because we were from dad's second marriage. And he says, more on that later.
Spawns of Satan!
Maternal grandfather was a congressman who dropped out after a year because my grandmother was a fall-down drunk.
So the same grandma that's calling you the spawn of Satan is the fall-down drunk?
Right. Yeah. Or maybe a different grandparent. No, maternal grandmother, so it's his mom.
So this guy has no hope.
Yeah. Okay, this is another story.
If he made something of himself, he really picked himself up by bootstraps, you know.
Yeah.
There's no way his mom was like...
Yeah.
All there either, if this is the guy that she's making babies with.
Okay, so the reader also says, I'm a youngest of 5 kids, older sister, 18 years old, gave a baby up for adoption a week before I was born. So she can barely even look at me, and pretty much hates me. Kind of makes sense. It's like a story. She didn't want to give up her baby for adoption, and then like her
Mom
brother
has a baby. Also sounds like a personal problem. Sorry.
Second oldest sister is a lesbian Episcopalian priest who was fired from her job for cheating on her wife with a church member. So she's a lesbian preacher, and she cheated on her wife with a different person in the congregation. They have 2 kids, 1 sperm donor, 1 adopted. They are now separated. And then his other brother is somewhat normal, although divorced. Closest sister and only whole sibling is bipolar, which makes for all sorts of fun family drama. Okay. More. My dad was still married when he married my mom, so was for a brief time a polygamist. He had 3 kids with Martha and then transferred to a different state for the job. Martha stayed behind with the kids. He lived in both places, like back and forth, and met my mom in his new town. You following? So he's got 2 wives.
He has a family back home. He moves. He's living back and forth, and he gets another wife and starts a family at the other.
But
location.
she didn't. His mom, the second wife that he got, they got married, and he never told her about all of this. Then his first wife gets brain cancers and has weeks to live. She dies, and he is forced to tell my mother about his kids, right? Because his mom, his other siblings.
He's about to be the sole provider for these.
Exactly right. He doesn't even go to his first wife's funeral. Instead, he just mails plane tickets for the kids to come live with him. My mother forgave him, and they have 2 more kids. Only after my mom goes to divorce him, to find out that he was never divorced from his first wife. Crazy. Okay.
This guy's a piece of work.
Apparently, his mom is a drunk too, and was kind of a slut when she was younger. She even knocked up her high school football player, or her high school's football coach, as well as a brief affair with the one and only Richard Dawson. And then in parentheses it said Family Feud. So I guess he was like the host of Family Feud.
Yes.
Probably. Yep.
Richard Dawson.
Yeah, this is wild.
Okay.
He said, now on me, I'm currently pretty well adjusted. He said, I'm 31 years old. I have a wife, 2-year-old, no drinking problem. He's like, not too bad for my family. So that guy's got a crazy life.
So I like how we didn't dive in deep to any of those things. It was just like, there's so many things to cover here. I'm just gonna.
There's another story
give you
like
a bunch
that
of
too,
bullets.
that it's just like, da, da, da. Like, it's just crazy.
Dang.
Yeah. So that's pretty wild.
I can say
That's a
things.
lot.
I could say some things like about some of my family members that aren't in my immediate family that would just have been like they had like just had a crazy life, but I ain't going to because it gets kind of.
My family's not as like my Iowa family. They're not as crazy like that, but there are really weird things like the way that the structure because of just remarriages and how some people had like a lot of people in my family have had kids young. Like, I don't know how young even too, but like 16, stuff like that. So it does make for some interesting dynamics. Like, the oldest cousin in my family is, I think, 40. And he has a daughter who's my age, so like 26. But then also his dad remarried and they both were pregnant at the same time. Like, my cousin's wife and then my uncle's wife, who's the dad of my cousin, were pregnant basically at the same time. And there was overlapping stuff. And I always found it really interesting for that side of the family because, like Brody is like, Macy's uncle, but they're like the same age and they're in the same grade. Like, that's so strange.
No, yeah, I get
so
that.
I think it's really cool, but it's weird too.
Yeah, like my aunt, my dad's sister is 18 years younger than him.
Yeah.
And so she was literally born like right after him and my mom got married.
It just happens with big families. Yeah.
Right. And so then like my sister, who is technically my aunt's niece, my sister's older than her.
Right. It's just weird stuff.
It was like they're very close in age, but still, it's like when you're an aunt to somebody who's like,
yeah, it's like that a lot too. And like because my great grandma had 10 kids, and so
that happens a lot in really big families.
Yeah,
I don't have a big family, so that's why it's
some weird things. Like my mom is like besties with her aunt because they're like basically 5 years apart, stuff like that. Like, it's just weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Weird.
This is a really funny one. So, he said, my claim to fame, my dad loves to tell the story about how I OD'd on cocaine when I was 4. Okay, we'll dive in.
First of all, it's bad parenting.
Well, it's okay. I was riding my bike around a cul-de-sac and decided to try riding without hands. Ended up flipping over the handlebars and scraping all the skin off my face. Like, whew.
Oh.
Yeah, went
poor
to the
baby.
ER to get stitched up, where they use topically applied cocaine as a painkiller, and it says this is actually a really common practice to do. Probably why it was invented, I'm sure. But since I pretty much didn't have skin anymore on his face, it all got absorbed at once rather than gradually like they expected. He said, so yeah, my heart rate went up to about 220, and the doc basically told me, my parents, that there was nothing they could do. If I was still alive in 20 minutes, I'd be fine. Wild. That's how Ryan broke his arm, I think, was like riding on his, like standing up on his seat, like down a hill. I'm pretty sure that's how he broke his arm.
Boys. I would have never.
Yeah.
I would have never.
Yeah.
Like, the worst we ever got hurt, my sister was jump roping running down the driveway. My dad had already told her, don't do that. He saw her doing it, and he was like, don't do that. You're going to fall and scrape your face.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay. And then he went to work the next day, and she did it, and she tripped and fell and scraped her face up, and she had a big scab for her nose for a little while.
Nice. It just happens, man.
And I remember everyone thought she was dying. All the neighborhood kids ran over because she's like screaming bloody murder, obviously. But yeah.
Wild. Okay, this is a funny one too. So my parents like to tell this story too. Sometime when I was around 2 years old, I stood on my chair at the dinner table and announced, "Listen up, everybody! I can float." I then proceeded to jump off my chair and smack my face flat on the wood flooring. The best part is I was so shocked I wasn't floating that I didn't even cry. I just looked stunned. Seeing I wasn't terribly injured, my parents laughed hysterically. To this day, it still cracks them up. That's great.
What did he watch?
I don't know. Yeah, it must have
read.
been like a Casper, maybe.
Capser?
I remember this kind of relates, but kind of doesn't. And also relates back to you being sick. One time when I was really little, probably like 3 or so, I got like, I guess, really, really, really sick. And my mom took me to the ER. I think I was, 2 or 3. I don't know. I had a really bad fever. And like when you have a really high fever at that young age, it's kind of scary. And apparently I told the doctors that I was like smiling, and they're like, "What are you smiling at?" And I was just like, "I can see myself floating on the ceiling." Yeah, so I guess I almost died. I don't know. I'm
Who
all better
knows?
now.
Or else there's another you on the ceiling.
Probably. Gold on the ceiling.
Wow, okay, hang on. I'm literally adding that to my liked songs right now. You just reminded me of
That's a good song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, here's one. Kindergarten teacher posed this question in her class. Who is the president of the United States? My 5-year-old self raised my hand, and beaming with confidence, I answered, Arnold Palmer. My parents were big-time golfers, and there was a huge fucking painting of him in our living room and above the fireplace. Made sense to me.
Honestly, they are big fans. You have a frame picture of like a big picture
Above
too,
the
so
fireplace.
Yeah, that's the most important place.
Yeah. That's like where you put,
Yeah. Did you know who Arnold Palmer was other than the drink? Do you know he was a famous golfer?
Yeah, I knew. But I didn't know unless there was a drink,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have just known that if there wasn't a drink about it. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Not a golf girl like me.
Not a golfy girl. Okay, so this one, when I was in elementary school, I was doing the DARE program, so Drug Abuse Resistance Education, in case you didn't know. We learned about gateway drugs and how cigarettes can lead to marijuana use, which could lead to heroin and all that bullshit. So that day, I walked up to my mother, who was smoking a Salem, which is like a cigarette brand, while watching television. I pointed at her cigarette and proudly displayed my newfound knowledge by yelling, "Mom, you're a drug addict." She laughs about it now, but it made her feel so guilty that she would finally end up quit smoking for just.
That's
for a
why
month.
Don't you remember during like DARE and all that, they'd be like, you need to go tell your grandpa and your mom and all these people that they're gonna die one day because like, do they care about you? Because if they do care, they'll stop.
I do think that program was kind of toxic a little bit. It's like they never made you feel good.
Okay,
which
my
you shouldn't.
thing is,
It's drugs
okay,
and
first of all,
alcohol,
it's important because they're just like, yeah, by the way, adults do some of these things. And because I remember like the DARE person coming in whenever I taught 5th grade, like previously, like they came in and they were like, listen, we know your parents will drink alcohol sometimes, things like that. Adults can do some of these things in moderation, and it's not like a horrible, like there's different levels, okay?
Right.
There's some of these drugs that are really, really bad. It's never okay. obviously, like, your mom has a glass of wine with dinner. That's not what we're talking about.
Right.
But is it okay for a child to have that? No.
No.
So it's that I was just like, okay, because I would never want to teach a class like that because
Yeah. That'd be hard.
it would be hard. Yeah, because kids are like, without a fail, my uncle was in prison for selling cocaine like every single time. And
that must
when
be
they're
so fun to dodge.
and they're like, yes, next question.
Yeah,
Little
that's
Timmy.
crazy because kids.
Because I'd always sit in there and be like, no, it's okay. Okay. Like, next, we're not sharing out. We're asking questions if we're curious. Or we
As
have
you're a
question.
kid too, you want to share. I get like a high when I get to share something.
Same.
But it's like as a kid especially, and you have no
Do you
filter.
not feel like such a it's a connection thing with people?
I think
You're
so
like, I
too.
have something to add.
Yeah, I have something to add.
I have
and
something
know
to
it, and
add.
I know it relates. I remember being in school or even in meetings sometimes. I'm just like, I have something to add.
Ha
And I'm just like ready. I'm waiting for somebody else to finish and be like, uh-huh, and then actually.
Yeah.
I do that
Yep.
a lot. I do that
Same.
a lot. And sometimes too, I want to say it so bad that I'll bring it up after we've kind of already like stopped talking.
Like,
the
oh, I
subject
meant to
is
tell you
over.
earlier.
No, well, even it's like, oh yeah, like I think today we were talking about like a power company that we sell, and like we kind of finished up the conversation. It was kind of done, and I was presenting, so it's kind of my turn to go on to the next thing. And I was like, yeah, and then actually another interesting point. Okay, moving on. Like I had to get it out, you know. I'm pretty bad
Gotta be
about
sad.
that. Okay. Here's another one. I only have 2 more, but the last one's like a rapid fire one too.
Ooh,
this one's
okay.
kind of long. Okay, at Knott's Berry Farm, a theme park in Southern California, there was an old West stage show every day at the Birdcage Theater. The show was a very simple storyline. The villain, a snidely whiplashed character, complete with a top hat, cape, and twirly mustache.
If you don't know who Snidely Whiplash is, that's from what's
Yeah.
the movie that Ryan loves? And
Yeah.
Dudley Do Right.
Yeah. He kidnaps a fair virginal damsel.
Virginal?
Virginal. Thanks. Our hero must save her and resist the temptation of the woman in red. It was an interactive show. The audience was expected to vocally swoon over the fair damsel. Cheer for the hero. Yay! Catcall the woman in red. And boo the villain. The actors are naturally used to the audience heckles, cheers, and other outbursts, and pride themselves on staying in character no matter what happens. My family's watching the show one afternoon and enjoying the onstage antics. Suddenly, the villain makes his entrance. He stomps across the stage, sweeps his cape over his shoulders, and laughs while twirling his mustache. Wahahaha. As the boos die down, a tiny little voice pops. It's so good. Tiny little voice pipes up near the front. Jackass! The show is stopped. Flat out stopped. The damsel is clutching her sides and she is in giggles. The villain is literally slapping his knee and goffling. The entire audience is laughing. Finally, the actors compose themselves and the villain points menacingly at my 3-year-old brother and yells, "I'll see you about that later."
That's so funny. Oh, that's my
so
dream.
good. Jackass! That's so good.
What does that remind me of too? Is it's from like
It's from
Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore. Yeah, that's probably where he got it from. I'm sure.
Oh my God, I love that.
That's so good. Okay. So the last one is kind of like a rapid fire. Another one. It's not as crazy as the last time. It's more funny, but okay.
That one's really funny though.
Okay. So she said, take your pick on family or like on crazy things with my family. The time I got lost at Disney World. Great. It's probably the best place to be lost, but still scary.
Probably a good place to get freaking sex trafficked.
That's
So worst place to get.
My sister pretending to be Jesus when she was 3. Awesome.
I love that.
Got my mother followed by mall security for my own safety. Okay.
Like they thought her mom was trying
Like kidnap. That's funny. Got into a fight with a librarian at school over the Dewey Decimal System and how it sucked. Won the fight, by the way. Ate ice cream and passed out in the kitchen from the brain freeze. My mom thought I died. Shoot. Used my super soaker to drench the neighborhood bitch when I was 3. Her and my mom were talking in the front yard. That's epic. You're a hero. You're a hero. Saw my neighbor carry a bag that had the deer he killed when he went hunting into the garage. Tried to call the cops because I knew he killed his wife. I was 5. Awesome.
This is Audrey. Like this is Audrey unhinged.
Yeah. Both my parents punched my sister in the face and knocked out baby teeth. What? What?
Abused her sister?
Both my parents punched my sister in the face and knocked out baby teeth. My mom in our driveway and my dad in the National Mall in Washington, D.C. Oh, I guess it must have just been an accident.
They probably should have put accidentally.
Weird, yeah. When I demanded we change hotels on a vacation because it was Shark Week and this shitty hotel doesn't have Shark Week. I was 10. And then driving through the mountains, 8-year-old sister screams out, "Son of a bitch, that's a huge deer." It was a bear.
It's like that video where he's like, have you seen that one where they're talking about I can't remember what it says exactly, but the Statue of Liberty is in the background.
Yeah.
It's the same vibe.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, I need to like look it up.
Yeah.
To remember what it is because it's so funny, but it's the same Statue of Liberty kid video car. Nope, I don't know what it is.
Dang. Well, yeah, guys, that was crazy or funny family stories for ya. Do
Yeah.
you have any crazy or funny family stories? Any others? I can't really think of any.
I
Really.
can't really think of any either. I'm sure there's like crazy things. I mean,
The thing is, you don't want to air. I feel like you can air out your friends' dirty laundry, but not your like family's.
yeah, and
Kinda.
if it was like my immediate family, I wouldn't really care either. Like
Yeah.
I was involved, but most of the time I'm thinking of is just like people did random stuff, and it was kind of like saucy.
Yeah.
But no, I feel like the most dramatic thing that happened in my family that was just like a funny thing was just when I freaking crapped all over the bathroom floor of that hotel in St. Augustine, and I already told that story, so you're gonna have to refer back
Yeah.
to
One
that
time,
was like our like spicy wings episode or something like that, I think.
Yeah. I don't think I told this one before, but whenever I was younger, I had only one other stepdad other than my stepdad I have now, Ken. And I was really little, like 3 or something, when my mom was married to him, and he was in a cover band. And we would go to the river. I don't remember any of this. This is just stuff that people told me. We would go to the river and stuff a lot to play. And I would go with them, obviously, because it was like my family. And at one point, I think like there were some shady people at the river. Definitely, it's just people
Always
camping
shady people at the
out.
river.
You know, it's just kind of how it goes. And I guess one time I was like dancing in the pit, and there were strippers there, and they were also dancing. It's not like they were stripping, but we just found out later that they were strippers. So I was dancing with strippers. That's kind of cool.
That's
and then
fun.
one time too, I was in the pit again, and a mosh pit started while I was
That's
in the pit. And I was
scary.
like 2 or 3. I was little. And luckily my mom was like, nope, and she pulled me right out. But like they would let me dance. It's not like it was always crazy. Like they would just play some
Right.
cover songs, and I would just go.
And there's just a little kid like boop boop.
Yeah.
dancing.
But I was in a mosh pit before
funny.
my time. Anyway,
Audrey is a rock star.
I'm trying to think of any other crazy stuff. My childhood life is just a little bit unorthodox, so I have a lot of actually probably really fun stories. I can't think of any.
I
of
got a
them.
lot of fun hospital stories.
Awesome. That stinks. Is it fun actually?
Guys, I think we should end the episode. Just kidding, guys.
Yeah.
Just kidding. No, I'm trying to think of something that was kind of crazy family story.
Oh, one time we were, whenever it was when my mom first married Ken, we were traveling. I was traveling out of the country for the first time. We were going to Canada. And when we were leaving in the car, it was my mom, my stepdad, my stepsister, and me. And they all the last name, they all had it like the last name Ferrari. And then I had my original last name. And people were like, it wasn't that big of a deal, but we were kind of just held up at border for a while because they were like, are you kidnapping this kid? What's going on?
I remember
You're
I
like,
used
"Oh,
to
it's
get
alright,
stopped at every airport. I always have
Weird.
to get scanned because
Oh,
of my
your
port.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Dang, that's crazy.
I know. I was like kind of illegal. I was kind of like on the crime circuit.
I'm surprised. Did you have a card that like said like I have that?
No, I just had this juicy scar.
Because I know sometimes when they have like people have like
It didn't always
Pacemakers and
happen.
stuff.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
didn't always happen. And I guess also because I was like
Interesting.
I was literally like a tiny kid.
yeah.
I don't know,
Interesting.
guys. I don't tell you, but it did be happening.
That's good to know.
It did be happening.
It did be happening, though.
No, I'm trying to think of something. There's got to be something. This is just kind of a funny random thing that wasn't funny to me at the time, but it's funny now. So my older sister, Kristen, is 12 years older than me and 14 years older than Haley. And it was whenever we were really little. So I was probably like 3 or 4. I was probably like 4 because it was before we moved into my parents' house that they live in now. And Haley was like 2, and my older sister was babysitting us while my parents were at work, and she was just really ornery. Like, if you know Kristen at all, she's just like, even to her own kids, like, will prank them and stuff all the time. Like, took them to a haunted, you know, where you could do the bridge thing where you go and you like turn on the lights.
Yeah.
Well, she literally did that with him a couple summers ago, and like had somebody that she knows that has land right there, like run out with a chainsaw and stuff like that. She's just okay. So she does stuff like that. Well, back when she was still like a teenager, she was babysitting me and Haley. We're like literally little kids, not even in school age. Yeah. And we come in and she's laying on the couch and she's got a big bunch of red, like a big glob of red on her bare stomach. Her shirt's pulled up and she's like pretending she's like dead, and she was holding a knife. And it was literally just ketchup and a butter knife. I mean, and Haley are like, oh my God, like freaking out, thinking that epic. She like, and she's like, just kidding, you guys are so gullible. Like, that's so funny. You are literally like, what is happening? We just want to watch Little Bear.
Wow, that's pretty crazy, Kristen. I know. You're
I could literally tell. We need to get my nephew on here because I really want him to roast her.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because there's this one story that's so funny to me. She like played this prank on him. And I just want him to tell it because he's so funny. Also, he like literally... Oh, wait. I'll tell one real quick. Dalton, if you're listening, this one's for you because he always wanted me to retell this story. Like, whenever we were growing up, me and he would always tell this story. So one time, we were talking about weird family dynamics. So my older sister married her first husband, had a daughter already from a previous marriage. Yeah. And you danced with her. Like, she was our age. Friends. Yeah. So, like I said, Kristen's quite a few years older than me and Haley. And then her first husband was a couple years older than her, and he had a daughter young, and blah, blah, blah. End up, we had a new niece that was between Haley and I's age. So she was like a year younger than me and a year older than Haley, right in the middle. Anyway, so we get into all sorts of shenanigans together. And then my sister had sons after that were like, you know, I think the oldest one is like 8 years younger than me or something like that. So we're closer in age than me and Kristen even are. Anyway, whenever we were young, my dad, we had like one of those little Tykes, like, wagons that you can pull kids in and like the sides pop off. Yeah. Well, my dad used to always take us up to the top of the hill of our subdivision, and we would get in it and take the sides off and hang our feet off the sides, and he would steer it down the hill, and we would like coast down the hill. We'd go kind of fast. Like, it was kind of scary, actually. Anyway, so we thought we told my parents, we're going to take the kids and we're going to walk around the circle and we're going to pull them around, when our plan was actually to go over on the hill on the opposite side and ride down with them. But we crashed it into the freaking ditch where there was just a bunch of gravel and stuff, and got my little nephew, who was like 3, all freaking scraped up and stuff. And he's like screaming bloody murder. We're like, shoot, we got to cover for ourselves. Like, we're going to be in so much trouble. Anyway, it was so bad. We're like, we got hurt. It was an accident.
Yeah. And you have to tell probably him too, be like, be cool. Like,
be cool,
cry.
Dude.
Be cool.
You want to play with us again?
I remember that with my niece too, because my niece is only 5 years younger than me. So she was kind of like my sister. And like, that would happen all the time. Like, I would be a brat to her, and then she'd start crying, and I'd be like, shh, be cool, because I'm going to get in trouble, and then the party's going to stop. So we got to be cool.
Yeah. You want to play or not? Yeah. Gotta play by my rules.
Gotta play by my rules. I'm the eldest. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Well, hey, I think that'll do it for us. I'm pretty hungry. We're gonna go get some Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. Okay, first of all, do you know what this reference is from? Because I've been telling my students all day, I'm having Chick-fil-A for dinner. I go, Chick-fil-A!
Sounds familiar, but I don't know.
It's from a Cody Co video, the one where the guy has the epic morning routine.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A. Yeah, I know. I got it now.
I've been saying that all day, and I'm so pumped for Chick-fil-A.
I'm so excited. We're going to go get the new drink.
Cloudberry. I had it. I don't even know if I'll get it. Yeah, I will.
And then we're going to go watch the Lightning game right now. They're in the playoffs. So, guys, cross all your fingers and toes. By the time you're listening to this, they'll already be on to the second round, or they'll be cut. So let's hope.
Really?
Yeah.
In 1 week we'll know.
Well, yeah, because so tonight is game
There's enough
6,
games.
and Toronto is leading 3-2. So it's first to 4 wins. So
The
if
person
Toronto
just the other day was telling me, I wouldn't.
so it'll end tonight or we'll go into the last game.
We better be going into the last game.
I know. We got to play good tonight. Anyway, we like hockey. Bye! We're the girls of 95, and we like to 1995. Not 1895 or 2095.
Not way back in the past.
Not
way
59.
ahead in the future. Just 26, 27-ish years ago.
We're almost 27.
Boo. Goodbye.